Host Anita McCaw, and I'm so excited and honoured to have you all here listening. I have found that on my own path and my own journey that there have been so many different modalities and facets of healing along the way, things that I can implement both physically, mentally, emotionally, things that have helped me to really embody and integrate and become who I'm supposed to be for this world. So I have decided to deliver to you all here listening all the different ways that we can heal, because it really isn't a one-size-fits-all journey. And I'm so ready to explore all different kinds of healing, which is going to open us up to being the most joy-filled, abundant, activated, kind beings, which this world really needs. And I'm so excited to have you here listening. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me again. In this episode, I talked to one of my really good friends, who is probably one of the most sacred and ancient souls that I've ever come across. He is just so wise and passionate, and he really walks the walk. So he really fully embodies his healing every single day. So he has his life structured around being his healing and being his work, and it is so obvious and so clear to me that he works on himself every single day as much as he does on giving that gift of helping other people to heal as well, which is such a huge responsibility. So his name is Criddle, and I was introduced to him by a mutual friend of ours at a time where I guess my whole world was absolutely crumbling, and I myself was crumbling as well. And I tried so hard on the surface just to keep my shit together. And when I met Ty, it's pretty clear to say that he saw right through that, and he could absolutely tell exactly what was going on and what needed to shift and how to shift it, but also knew that I really needed to come to the table with it. So I am really excited for you guys to listen to this episode, to listen to all of the wisdom that Ty shares. We talk about everything from his sound healing work to cacao, a little bit of astrology, and just, giving all of the shit that we're carrying with us just back down to the earth and using that as fertilizer to produce something a little bit more beautiful that shines a little bit more light. And again, he is just so incredible at what he does, and his aura and the energy that he gives out to people. It is just amazing to be in his presence. It's just healing to be in his presence. When I rocked up to do the interview with him at his little beach shack down in Yellingup, the first thing he told me to do was take off my shoes, and then before I entered his home, he basically smudged me as well. So he cleansed my aura, helped me through a few breathing exercises, and then we shared a cacao and just chatted about our lives. And then we really sunk into the interview, and it was the first face-to-face interview that I've done. I did have my puppy on my lap, so you'll probably hear her snoring throughout the interview, but it was one that I really enjoyed, and I'm sure that you're going to get so much out of. So without further ado, I would like to open this wonderful podcast up to all of you, and I hope that you really take in all of Ty's wisdom. So the first thing I do want to ask you, Ty, is what's your happiness recipe?
Lots of cacao.
Lots of cacao. That's it. That's like the easiest happiness recipe ever. Just cacao. Lots of cacao. It is. You do froth really hard on your cacao.
Yeah, I do, because I'm really sensitive. And cacao is such an organic. It's such an organic plant medicine. And it's just supportive of my energy, so it's no up and down, it just supports my energy system.
Yeah.
Especially where it's from.
Yeah.
Peru,
so powerful.
Such a shamanic. Yeah, so you really, I feel quite supportive in my energies if I... Yeah. And you don't become, you can stay off this for a few days and you'll be okay. It's not that caffeine up and down and...
Yep.
Getting anxieties keeps you in the pocket, especially if you're doing a lot of healing. It's just good to
Yeah, keep you like,
yeah. Yeah, and I lean in on my healings so much now with clients. Like, I make sure I have a cacao, or invite them to have a cacao before we start the healing, and it's just a different healing.
Yeah, definitely.
Opens them up because it opens your blood.
It does, which is so good because like we obviously had a cacao before we started this. Before we chatted, right yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think what is the most joy activating thing that you've done in the past week?
Most joy activating thing that I've done in the past week. I just always love playing my drum and my didge. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get to do that so often, which is really awesome. I love that. It's the simple things. It's like usually some people will be like, oh, this, and this, and then I did this. I like went on this trip, and you're like, cacao, played my drums. I love it. You're just like, it's just the simple things in life. It's so good.
They sort of come back more and more.
Yeah.
Like when you get off kilter sometimes, and then you realise why you did it, why you started. And then I think, when you're doing your healings, you've got to pretty much, you're out there doing other healings for other people, but then you've got to come back and use the same methodology in your own healings, like pretty much. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not authentic, it's not pure, it's not the essence. People could sniff bullshit from 1,000 miles, So it's just. And when you're in the healing, you just are.
Yeah.
You don't have to really, it's the old Yoda thing. There is no try. You just are.
Yeah.
I'm always if I get my ass handed to me in the healing, like nobody else will know, but I'll know. Like it's pretty much just like most of the time it's because I haven't prepared. I haven't like done what lights me up.
Yeah.
I haven't done my basic routine of yoga in the morning, my cleansing practice.
Yeah.
I haven't played my didge and done my writing and actually sat in my third eye and journeyed through myself with my didge and opening myself up with my heavy duty didge that I have.
Yeah.
That's hardcore, pushing a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And then going down the beach and stay in the water. It's usually what it is.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's just, I love that as well. It's like when you give so much energy to other people, like, it feels completely different when you're giving energy to other people if you've not done the things that, as you say, like, light you up versus if you have. So, like, if you're in a good space and you've done something that's going to light you up, that healing that you give to other people is so much different to when, you've felt busy or rushed or you've just not been in flow, and then you also give that healing away. So it's
every time.
It's so different when you just don't find that light yourself before you
and it's like I remember when I first started this, it was hectic, like, and I learned it very quickly. I had to treat it like a footy game, like as far as you go hard for an hour, 2 hours, but then you need to have rest time and do your preparation and make sure you're having your downtime, because when you're in there, it's on. Yeah. And you're giving out a lot of energy, and you're receiving and giving out a lot, and you're transmuting a lot, and you're purifying a lot, Yeah. You're facilitating a lot of energy for people. So it's, and you have this massive expansion a lot of the time. So you've got to allow for the contraction. Yeah. Know that you're going to probably sometimes going to be ultra depressed the next day when you come back in. You go far out. This and this about myself. Yeah. What I've just felt in everybody else is actually in me as well. Holy shit. Yeah. And you just sort of have this massive introspection period. Yeah. You've got to go back to the drawing board. Yeah. All the time. So there's a massive expansion, contraction process all the time. Yeah. It's like a heart palpitation. It is. Exactly what it is. Yeah. Exactly what. Yeah. It's and interestingly enough, it's funny you say that. Because interestingly enough, when I'm doing my when I'm taking people through their chakras, too, especially third eye, it's exactly like that. Exactly like that. Just that feeling of. I love that. That's how you visualize the third eye. Like I've never heard of it before. Like I've always felt like my third eye. Like I just feel like it's kind of like a pouring, tingling sensation. And like even now it's starting to like tingle a little bit. It's like switched on, and it's like, this is what you're supposed to be doing, and it's just, and that's come more and more frequently. But it's just like a, I
I guess it's like pouring paint onto a canvas, like straight out of the jar, and then it just spreads. That's how I feel my third eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I feel it. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've realised that's always an evolving process, how that operates. And it's different for everybody else.
Yeah.
Like you tune into other people and you got to find different activation points.
Yes, definitely. So like how people say that chakras are like wheels of energy, like I don't like visualize mine as wheels. It's like
everyone's got their own process.
Yeah.
Because quite often when people walk in the room, I never know, and then I'll tune in there and go, oh, that's where we're starting.
Yeah.
Because you see, you have this, we've got to go straight here. It does. That's the old patriarchal Capricornian way. It's like, that's not. Just got to be so tuning into your feminine side, and then you can implement it with that masculine side. But you got to be tuning in, be guided by that first. Really tune into someone. And as you know, being a fellow empath, you can. Being sensitive is not a curse. It's actually a power when you learn how to. Work with it.
Yeah, we're gifted it for a reason. For sure.
Even though like, sometimes it's like,
sometimes.
Like this.
Yep. Definitely.
Who am I?
Sometimes you're just like, okay, so like, what's me and what's other people's shit?
It's like pulling it all. That's why I come back into this safe sanctuary we're in now. Pulling me. I'm tired. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like, this is me, this is what I want, this is what I'm passionate about, and this is my energy, and the other bullshit can just fuck off.
You just sort of power up in the end, and then you can go back out again, but you sort of, it's that heartbeat that we talked about. Going out.
Going out and then coming back in.
Really important to come back in.
Oh, yeah.
Too often a lot of us just out all the time, and then we wonder why everything collapses on us.
Yeah.
Been there many times.
Oh, same. And like that's the thing, it's like something gets a cycle, so it'll happen again, and like it'll be, because healing isn't just something that you do once, right? So it's no. And it's different for everyone, as we also talked about earlier before we started the chat. But so it's so different for everyone, and different things work for everyone. So and what crystals have you been working with lately? So what's been like the ones that you've like been drawn to lately?
That's always a process.
Yep.
Because it's interesting, I got no idea what this is.
Yeah. I was actually wondering, like when I walked in, I was like, what's he wearing? But like I love it. It's very powerful, I feel. Like how it's wrapped, I feel. Yeah.
Well, a very good healer friend of mine gave me this. We were just talking, and I used to have a what's the black one? Not obsidian, shungite.
Oh, yep.
Shungite is a really good starter for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it's a harmonizer. And it harmonises all the EMFs as well. If you're around a lot of, it's really good. Harmonises other energies. Also, black tourmaline, as you know, is good for negative energies. But I always found shungite was a good one to start with. Then I got to a point where I didn't need my crystals for a while.
Yep.
I don't generally need crystals now.
Yep.
So I've learned to really generate my own energy a lot more, and ground in a lot more, and connect in a lot more. But they can be really supportive when you need them. It's important not to become attached to them. I had a client the other day, and I had one around the neck, and I was like, oh, you need to get rid of that. You know? Trying to get rid of that one. Get another one. You could feel it was just
like holding so much and needed a good cleansing.
So it's a constant to keep them moving.
So I switch out my crystals quite often. Like I have a few that, you know, I always come back to. So like citrine and rose quartz for me, like are just ones that I will always come back to. Mostly because it's like something that you can like physically hold with intention, and that you know that you're using this to like activate something within yourself. So, you know, something tangible, something that's going to activate your senses to help you to go inwards. That's how I feel like crystals really speak to me, because
exactly. And I like to give them to clients quite often, and they just keep, it's just this constant flow. They just come to you and it's like, oh, they go again. So you don't become attached to them at all. And, and they come back to you. Like I did a retreat. My last retreat, I did that four personality intensive. I like to keep it to 4. I hadn't used crystals at my retreats before. I just had this download. I was like, I've got to get quartz crystals. I got 4 quartz crystals. And it was just all perfect, because it was all about the purification it was all back to centre, back to their divine, back to that childlike nature, that reset. And the quartz is the engine room of all the crystals. It's the foundation of all the crystals.
Yeah.
So, and that's what the retreat ended up being all about.
Yeah.
That we did, was this total reset.
Total reset. I love that. Yeah.
So you always trust
the
intuition with crystals.
Yep. Yep. Always. I work a lot with crystals, and I find that they really speak to me, which is why I'm asking everyone that I interview on the podcast, which crystals they've been working with. Yeah, because I feel like they really do speak to me, but it's a rotation of what's working right now. Yeah, so I think
you can do yourself a lot of harm sometimes by hanging on to them.
So, and like if you don't cleanse them and stuff like that. And I think like a little while ago I was working a lot with snowflake obsidian. Yeah. Which is perfect for like restructuring thoughts and, thought patterns, and and that really at that time was just what I needed. Yeah. So, but then now it's like, that cycle's changed, and it's like, I don't even like sometimes like read into what their meanings are before I pick it up, I'll be like, what do I feel like I need to hang on to today? Like, what energy do I feel I need close to me today to support? And and then I'll go from there, and then later on I'll like read up about it, and I'm like, oh, bang on. So it's just the energy that comes from them is really important. I feel that's myself personally. I feel really strongly with crystals. So beautiful. Yeah. How did you find yourself working with sound and healing with sound?
Well, I think we've all been through massive wounding around sound, I reckon. Like our own voices to start, probably as a child through singing. Like, like, you can't sing, or you have to be a superstar to be able to sing. You've got to be gifted to sing. You've got to be gifted to play a musical instrument. Yeah. I think a lot of us have been through that wounding. Yeah. I had massive wounding around that. Like, didn't think I was good at anything really as far as music goes. Like, because there's always, everyone was put up on a pedestal and like, nah, you're shit. I remember trying out. I really wanted to be in the band in year 8. There's this band, it was a thing. Like, everyone wanted to be in the band. I remember trying out. Yeah. And you got no rhythm. And I didn't even get in. I'm like, and they just destroyed me.
That's shit. That's what shit like is that.
Yeah, that was cool choir thing as well, like this sort of stuff. So it's just, I think, and around speaking as well. I remember, in year 7, like, I was always good at reading things, but talking, I would always get, no, you're not good enough, not clear enough, you mumble your words, and I think we all carry some sort of wounding. Around sound. That's really interesting. I've never thought about it like that before, but because we've been taught by, the media and all the, the internet and the mainstream, that you have to be super gifted to play an instrument. You're super gifted to be able to sing, which is not true at all. No, it's just because it's really funny, like, I always thought of sound healing as, accessing that vibration, accessing that vibrational healing quality, but I've never thought about it as like an inner healing thing for things like, being told that I couldn't sing, or like, shut up, I'm sick of you singing like Red Hot Chili Peppers in the back of the car, like, things like that. So I've never thought about it like that before. Because I love singing, like I always, ever since, and when I used to work on the cray boats and when I used to work in the juries and abattoir work and all that sort of stuff, like, you're in these chains and these small groups, you used to sing a lot because it get you through, and you have the music cranking, you'd all be singing. And, sort of. And that is like quite powerful to heal as a collective, to be like, I guess, in harmony, although it probably doesn't sound in harmony. Like, it's just like you're like in that space where you're just having a good time, having a jam, and it doesn't matter what the hell you sound like. That's cool. That's really cool. So I don't know. I'm just only sort of realising all this now, and I say that a lot in the healings now. I do a lot of sounding work now, like how it feels in your body. It doesn't matter how it sounds. It's like, how does it feel? How's it feel in your body, making that vibration? And when I'm doing all of that journeying stuff and releasing, when I'm feeling the collective in the room, I'm pretty much, the sounding I'm making, the singing is just what I'm feeling in my body making. The same when I play the didge, when I'm feeling my body as I make that sound, releasing.
Yeah.
And transmuting it.
Yep. That's awesome. And so how did like the didge come to play a role in your sound healing? Do you think it was like an ancestral connection or?
It was really, like as I say, I didn't think I had the musical bone in my body, really. I just picked up, like, a mate of mine, we started doing medicine. We were going through a bit of a tough time, and this guy used to come around, this very close friend of mine used to come around, and we did a medicine drum on each other, and we used to do a lot of ritual and all that sort of stuff, and he'd come around and we did medicine drum on each other, and we do a lot of like prior work and just releasing and yelling and get it all out. That was like quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I had to play back a bit, but I suppose there's a lot more to the story. But to cut a long story short, the same friend came around and said, "You know what? Oh, actually, that's right. Heidi and James, we're in the sound healing. I remember going to a sound healing 10 years ago, and this guy called Christos.
Yeah.
And I went into this, and I was at the local yoga studio,
yeah.
and just this random healing came up out of nowhere, and all these random people rocked up, and everyone just put their money in the middle, and it was something out of some sort of hippie film or something, and I was just like rocked up, and man, this guy was amazing, did all this, and I had the most far out experience, like I was seeing all sorts of crazy stuff, but I knew I was seeing like the void and vortexes and opened my whole body up. And I remember one of my sons, he just went straight out. All the kids went out. All the heaps of kids that were in there, and everyone just went straight out. I remember just being much relaxed I've ever felt in my life. I went, wow, this is amazing. There's something else. Like, I've been doing a lot of different spiritual work, but this was like, power of that sound.
Yeah.
And I remember that. And I had this Christos. I had him up on a bit of a pedestal for a long time.
Yeah.
And then it sort of, we started doing our own stuff, and then that's right. Went to this other sound healing, and Heidi and James were there, and they both came out and said, "Ty, we saw you playing a didge." They both separately came up to me and said, "Ty, we saw you playing a didge over. You need to start playing a didge."
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, actually. And then James brings a didge around the next day, and I started playing straight away.
Wow.
I just picked it up, and I just could play it. I was just, wow. And then I just became so addicted in the sensations, and then the journey work, and the actual, the way it opened my whole body up.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, there's something here. I was opening my whole body up, and I was just like, wow. And the energy was getting more intense. I could do my healing work was becoming more authentic and more intense. As the more didge I played, the more energy flowed through me. I was like, oh, there's something here. And then I kept opening, all my chakras were opening up more and more and more. And then I was doing all this different stuff. I was doing a lot of yoga. I was doing a lot of I was doing chanting. I was doing what do they call them, satsang, that sort of stuff. Like, I was doing a lot of different spiritual stuff. I was doing a lot of Tao stuff. But then I realised the didge was a one-stop shop.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's so
it was
cool.
A one-stop shop. Like, there was, you had the chanting aspect as far as you could do the sounding and the voicing and all that stuff in the didge. You can access all different chakras.
Yeah.
And then you sort of, when you come out of it, the meditation afterwards, like you really feel into your body, the primal stuff was there too. When you actually come out of it, you can actually drop into a meditation, and it's just like it's the most relaxing thing I've ever experienced.
That's so cool.
And so I started working that more and more, working different parts, more different sounds, experimenting more and more, and then I started doing it on other people and realising my empathic skills, I could actually feel what was going on in other people and make that right sound and actually go to the spot and knew where to go.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow, there's something here. And then it just all grew from there. So my empathy ended up being so I was a healer first, then a sound healer.
Second. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
How do you think sound differs from like other healing modalities?
Well, sound is like, it's the source.
That's cool.
It's the source. The vibration, it's the source.
Yeah.
Everything's vibration. Energy.
Mm.
Energy comes from vibration.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And when you're working with that, the two hand in hand work so well together.
Yep.
So I know after I've done... So I integrate the two, energy and sound at the same time. I'm channeling at the same time as I'm doing the sound. And then afterwards you get into these magnificent spaces where you can hold the whole room and feel exactly what's going on because you've created that vibration.
Yeah.
It just makes you more in tune and so sharp. You can just feel...
Yeah.
You're just on from the sound. You just know.
Yeah.
Everything's heightened.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you open yourself up as well.
Yeah, because I remember my first experience with like sound healing, and a lady actually like used Tibetan bells, and like just afterwards, I just felt the most energetically relieved and relaxed that I felt. And I was 18 years old at the time as well, and so, you know, obviously that is like just such a massive time where you're just like really learning your kind of place in the world still, and like what you want, like you're still going through that. And then I had a lot of other heavy stuff happening at that time as well, and just to be able to feel that relief and that release was just freaking epic. Yeah, it was awesome. And it like took literally all of about 5 minutes as well for her to do this. Like it was probably a little bit longer, but it was so cool. Yeah, so cool. Yeah. And how do you when you do your sound healings, you try to line them up usually with like, you know, the astrological cycle, the moon cycle?
I try, ideally, like to stick to the new moon, full moons. Yeah, especially full moons,
Yeah. Why is that?
Oh, the energy.
The energy?
Yeah, the energy is really... Like, I remember one of the most epic healings. I didn't realise until after, like months later, people kept coming back from this one healing.
Yeah.
And it was a full moon in Leo.
So your sign, yeah.
And then I started to realise, the full moon and the cacao together are quite powerful. Just from my experiences, more and more. Yeah. You know, everything's illuminated. Yep. Yeah. Lunar power is a thing. Yeah. Why does the ocean tides move so rapidly with the moons? Yeah. We are water. So it makes sense. It does, yeah. That makes so much sense. So much sense. Especially to me as a Cancerian, and I'm ruled by the moon. And I'm like... And I'm a fisherman. I was a fisherman from way back. Always used to work the moons. Yeah. So moons have been an inherent part of my life anyway. I used to always work the moons around the fish, what the fish were doing on the moons, ever since I was a kid. Yeah. So I always followed the moons. And then... Yeah. I used to do a lot of... spiritual work around the moons as well, and then just understanding how powerful and how potent they were, especially, and they just are, like astrology just is. When you line up with astrology, it's always, the energy's always bang on, and I'll be feeling in my body what's happening. Yeah. And inherently everybody will be feeling the same. What's happening with the energies right now. Or it might be solar plexus, or it could be heart linking with the energies, or you know, like Lionsgate, solar plexus all the way, Leo, solar plexus ruled by, you know. Yeah. That would have been such a powerful time for you. Yeah, it was. Lionsgate was massive coming out of Lionsgate. I had a lot of growth coming out of Lionsgate. Yeah, that's really cool. That's so cool. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you feel like the energy is at the moment? It's the new moon Libra, like, it's been amazing. Yeah. It's been confronting, because it's all about the outer. And Libra's all about balance, all about relationship outside of yourself, reflecting what's going on inside. So it's all about negotiation, even negotiation. Your needs and my needs should be met. They might be different, but they're equal, rather than you're getting everything you want, why and I. So it's this whole... It's been this whole, like, holding your own ground, but doing it in a really quite a diplomatic way, which is Libra energy, to be able to... The diplomacy. Yeah, diplomacy, which is
which is really cool. And I know that, you know, at the start of the year, like we had, you know, a lot of conversations just over the phone, and you would honestly every single time just call at the most perfect time just to have a conversation, and we'd end up, I don't think we've ever had like a phone conversation that's lasted less than 10 minutes. Just because I just feel like intuitively you would just know when to call, or I would just know when to call. And just have a discussion about, you know, one, you'd come up to site and like delivered a sound healing, and then two, just because, you know, it's good to have a yarn with you essentially as well. So I just found that really interesting, and then every single time I've gained so much from just a single conversation with you. And you've been just such a massive teacher and a turning point in my own healing as well. So like coming to you for your sound healing last year, and I was like, that was just insane. And yeah, I remember being at the sound healing, and you know, you're playing the didge and the drum and the sound bowls and everything like that. And I remember like laying there, and then I just felt that floating sensation. So it was like that, you know, that levitation from like where I was, it was actually really coming into my spiritual body. And that's the first time I'd experienced, you know, a healing on that level. And that was really cool. And I loved how at the end you also like, you hold space for people to be able to express and share, because community is also really important. And I see that, you know, you see that community is really important as well. So do you think there's like something to be said in like, you know, group healing versus solitary healing?
Firstly, thanks for those beautiful words.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
But it just, as we were talking about earlier, it reflects the amount of work that you've done to see that work that you've done inside of yourself, to be able to feel that.
Thank you.
You know? So it's true, yeah. I've been working with receiving a lot, as we were talking about before.
Yeah. You like rejecting the word shaman. I was like, no, that's definitely you. Yeah.
And as I said, you're seeing the shaman within yourself. Yeah. Thank you. What was the question again?
So the question was, you know, group healing and solitary healing. So obviously, you know, solitary healing is, I think, a lot more potent and powerful, but I think group healing can be just as powerful, especially as a collective, especially in the current times that we're in. You know, I think group healing can be really important, really massive as well. So
it depends where you're at.
Yeah.
I really do. I think there's quite a few. There's a bit of a process with it, because some people they feel safer to come to a group healing, you know, because they never experienced before, and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
But if there's a few people there, they're like, oh, my friends are, I'm going to come along too and experience it. So what I found, it can be a capture point for people to actually experience some sort of inkling that there's something else.
Yeah.
You know? It's not just this mundane world. There's an energy inside of themselves that's quite powerful, and just that initial awakening, I think. And then I found like it becomes a bit of a process. Like people like I'll get people come to my healings consistently. Yeah. And then they'll be ready to go a bit deeper. Yeah. They'll be ready to like maybe do my intensive four personality retreat, or come to do a one-on-one. Yeah. And the intensive 4 can be really powerful, because you're actually, especially the people that are there, they've done a lot of work. Yeah. So they're there to do the work, and it'll just be on. Yeah. Because they're there. They've made the exchange. The exchange is equal. Yeah. And as soon as they've made the exchange, energy exchange. Yeah. The healing will generally start a week out. As soon as they've made the exchange, the healing will start. Yeah. So, but then again, when you've got a powerful group, when you've got a group collective, say a full moon, that can be equally as powerful, and people feeling that sense of community, and that sense that we're all more powerful together.
Yes.
And we can feel the more we're together, the more we can feel our own energy. So in a lot of ways, it can initiate a lot of people into their own divine.
Yeah.
By feeling that collective energy.
Yes.
Especially the full moons and cacao. It's like, whoa. Like, when you're working with that energy, that collective energy, it's like getting all these power stations and putting them together.
Yeah.
Whoa! It's exactly like that. And the next thing you know, it's this beautiful, positive nuclear reactor just...
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And, so it's not a straightforward answer.
No, I know. Like, but it's different. Like, I mean, like, and as we were talking about before, like, sometimes being in that group, it can be so exhausting, but so nourishing to your soul as well. But, you know, but so different, like, to, like, a one-on-one, because at least you can channel your energy to that one person or to those 4 people who are in your retreats. Like, rather than having to, like, you know, activate and access about, you know, 20 to 30 people, which is, you know, for you would be very energetically draining. How do you,
Sometimes it can be easy to work with the big groups.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get to that, when you're just a channel and you got that big energy you're just working with, and you're just channeling it, and it can be a lot easier to work with.
Yeah.
Especially afterwards, you're just you're working with energy, and you can really move energy really quickly with people. You come in, just do one touch, and boom, they're up the one touch of a person afterwards, and boom, you're in that field.
Yeah.
This strong energy field.
Yeah.
So, but then sometimes you come. It's always different.
Yeah.
And that's the answer coming into this age of Aquarius. It's always going to be different. It's not this straight Capricornian answer. You know, like it's always different. And it depends what's happening for me, my energy, what's happening for everybody else. Like, I've come out of some group healings feeling amazing, and I've come out of some group healings the next day and gone, I can't move for 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, so it just depends on what's happening in the energies, and you know, sometimes I have people rock up to a healing and they're crying as soon as they get there. Yeah. Like, and that's like, I remember the last one we did, everyone who rocked up was releasing as soon as they rocked up, they were crying. I was like, oh God. Okay. This is what's happening. Right. Yep. You know, it was a war zone as soon as they rocked up. So,
yeah, I love that. Yeah. I mean, it's great. Like, obviously, you know, do you feel like, you know, you feel your emotions because they're ready to be released? Do you think, Correct.
Yep. Correct. Yeah. Correct. It takes a lot of work to be able to release your emotions.
Oh, 100%.
To be able to rock up and release like that means they've done a lot of work. Yeah. They're ready for releasing. The days of pushing down your emotions are gone. Yes. You need to let them out so you can bring in the new energies. You've got to let them release.
Oh man, can I I'm going to send this, like, that little part, that little chunk to, like, so many people, be like, listen to this part. You know, the days of holding on to your emotions and not releasing, it's done. It's over. Cancelled. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah. It's like you got to clean the trash out, man. You just got to let it out. Yeah. You just got to take the trash out, otherwise everything just gets all clumped up, and next thing you know, everything festers, and there's shit everywhere, and there's maggots and everything. You've got to. Our bodies are no different. Our emotions are no different. Things fester.
Yeah, and if we hold on to it, it just physically manifests in our body as an illness, as a sickness. Yeah.
Oh. You know, get into those safe spaces where you can just go, just like, there's in my body, you just shake it out. Or, it's really important. A simple shaking practice and a simple sounding practice. Yeah. You don't need to be some yogi guru or whatever. Just wake up in the morning and just shake it out, yell it out. Yeah. You know?
Just go and scream. Go stand out in the forest, ground down into the earth and scream.
Yeah. Really good.
Yeah.
Good therapy.
Yeah. Absolutely. So is that how you kind of, because you're quite empathic as well, like, how do you shift other people's energy off you? Like, what kind of steps do you take when you're doing healing?
That's always a process as well. Yep. So, I mean, the ultimate to get to is when you can just stand in a room and you don't need to do any releasing at all. You're that strong that you can actually stand there and you're channeling it all through. And I won't go into it too much. I won't give away all my secrets. But
of course, yeah.
But it's that when you get into that part where you can actually transmute it all through without making any noise, without doing any movement, with no sound. It's just standing there, and you're just this open channel, and you can receive all that energy and giving it back to them into their divine form. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So you're actually getting all this stuff, using it as fuel. Like all that crap, getting all this fuel and transmuting it back to them into their divine form, like purifying it. Yeah,
so giving that energy back, but in like not
turbocharging it back to them.
Yeah, but in like in a purer form, so it's not like a negative energy. Back to
this is actually all that shit.
Yeah,
it's actually fuel.
Yeah,
and quite often but this is it's a different level when you're talking on this level, because initially when you receive that, you need to get it out. Yeah. Yeah. Once you get to a certain level, and I'm still working towards it, is being able to receive it. Because you've got Mala down here. Yep. Your Dantian, which is just below your navel, everyone.
Yeah, I was like...
And Dantian, Hara, Sacred, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's all the same. And you got Father, which is third eye. So you're receiving through the mother. Yeah. Yep,
receiving through the mother. Yeah.
Receiving the mother capacity.
Yep.
And then the Father helps
come out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Because I know for myself, if I'm like trying to get rid of other energies that I've kind of absorbed, for me, like physical movement is probably the best thing that I can do.
I think the first step that I've actually learned for a lot of people is just to simply breathe into their dantian, into their stomach. And when people come to my healings, a lot of people have forgotten how to breathe and remember they have a body. They're in their heads, or they're out. They've escaped, exited somewhere. They're not on this earth. Yeah. And I think because I've had to. Yep. And I think a lot of time it's getting them to breathe into their belly, like we just did outside before. Yeah. And really expanding their belly out, putting their hand on the belly, expanding it out. Yeah. And then letting the energy go into mother, into the ground. Yeah. Because as I say in a lot of my healings, and I have to use a lot of repetition, say it a different way, it's that Mother Earth wants that crap. Yep. Does that make sense?
It's nourishment.
It's nourishment. It's like dead leaves. We're letting the dead leaves drop off the tree. Yeah. So Mother Earth can use it as nourishment. So we can help, so we can grow even more. So we have to let it all go. Yeah. So that's the most simple thing that all you can do. Yeah. It's just take it, if the shit's coming at you, like take your shoes off, or take one shoe off, and allow, breathe into your belly, and then allow the shit to go into the ground. If someone's energy's coming at you, same thing. Really easy technique. Yeah. And that's the first step of healing. And when if you are healing other people as well, is to let the ground have it.
Yeah. So when I walked into
the other stuff's much more advanced techniques, but that's
let the ground have it. Yeah,
let the ground have it's probably the most simplest way.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So everyone, when I walked into Ty's place, he was standing out the front with a smudge stick, and then he made me take my shoes off straight away. And I was like, that's fair enough. I was like, yep. So that's something. Do you do that with every visitor? Yeah. That's amazing that you're that you're protective of owning your energy in your space, and you're like, no. So everyone who walks through your threshold has that that blessing, that healing that you've gifted to them, and it's such a beautiful way to greet people.
Yeah, I'm learning more and more. I've got to make sure I stand out the front, because otherwise people just walk straight through the door. I was like, oh.
Yeah. You're like, get out. Get that energy out of my house.
Yeah, I'm regularly cleansing every day. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And that's, something that you said to me before as well, is like making sure that your outer world also reflects your inner world. Yes. And I was like, oh, wow. So it's like what you're feeling inside, how does your outer world show that? That was really wise. That was a really cool thing to say.
Oh, I'm always learning, hey? Like, because you're doing a lot of healings here, a lot of intimate healings, like the one-on-ones and little group healings in here. It's a constant thing. Like, you think it's clean, and then the next day you're like, oh. But that's life. Yeah. Yeah. That's life. We have to be constantly cleaning. It's not, I've got to clean it. It's no. it's good. Like it's another length of capacity. Like we've actually grown again. And we need to do some more cleaning. We see more stuff that we need to clean.
Yep.
And the retreats, especially doing them here where I live, like it's such a process, an internal process. Because every one I've done, I think I've done a lot of cleaning. I find more stuff to clean.
Yep.
And so my shack gets clean. I get cleaner inside because I realise that every time there's something I haven't seen from the last retreat, and I realise that I've actually grown because I've seen something else that needs to be cleaned. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't see that before.
Right? Yeah. It's so cool that you're that switched on. Like that you're that in your power, in your healing, and in your shamanism, I'm going to say it. in your shamanism.
I know. It's a dirty word to me, but I've got to really, I've got to work with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's, it's similar to me, as you said, like, it's, if you see it in someone else, you like, you see that in yourself. And I think that's probably more important with positive traits than what it is with negative traits.
Yes,
so
correct.
You're like, So I think it's like, if you go through and you compliment someone and you can see their power, it's like make sure you can also see your own, come back into yourself, because it is important. But we've been raised in a society where it's like that just makes you egotistical or narcissistic if you can recognize your power and you can promote your power. So it's being switched on and being aware of your power and using it when you're by yourself is, sometimes harder, I feel, than when you're in front of like an audience, I guess. Definitely
like and I suppose coming back to you asked me earlier about this new moon, that's what I found, this new moon really empowering. There's been some massive downloads come onto this earth in the last few days. Oh my God,
yes.
And I don't know if anyone else has felt it, but I certainly have.
I have, yeah.
And it's all about being able to not only feel that power, but receive the power. Yeah. And know what to do with that power in an embodied, in such an embodied way that's the truth within yourself. Yeah. And people talk about boundaries. I think it's more like owning who you are. You don't need to have boundaries, because if you own who you are, you don't. Things just drop away. Yeah. But if you allow that into your energy field, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, and ever since I've started walking this path, like 10, 12 years ago, people go, you've given up a lot. Well, no, they just dropped away. The more I embrace that vibration, they just dropped away. Yeah, it wasn't like quite a organic process, rather than this, got to cut this person off, got to do this, cut.
Oh, I know, that just feels so abrasive.
It's really abrasive. I mean, there is they say just say no. Yeah, it's true, but it's such, you got to be really discerning. Yeah. Like,
be able to have a look at things and like see where you can heal from it and see where the other person needs to heal from it. Yeah. Or the patriarchy or the company, or, see where they need to kind of be guided to as well, but know that it's not on you to do it.
Yeah, it's
for them.
Yeah, it's really interesting concept, because you do, it really is important to say no. It really is important to have boundaries, but by the same token, don't get into that negative mindset, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I know it sounds like I'm talking double Dutch here, but the vibration is really important, that you're maintaining your own vibration. You will not have those, if you start buying into the fear, you start buying into the negative aspects, they'll keep coming. They'll keep coming. Yeah, if you're in this negative, I've got to cut down, I've got to cut, guess what? Yeah. It's just going to keep coming. Yeah. And until you start owning who you are, you're going to find life a lot
harder. Yeah.
And there's Saturnian energy that's happening right now. If you don't change yourself, it's going to keep coming for you. Yeah. If you do not change, as we were talking about, it's coming in January, like.
I'm like,
and a lot of my astrology knowledge, I've got to do a little bit of credit here. Stacey Smart, my partner. Yeah. That's
good. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing she's been like doing astrology for 25 years, quite embodied, but she's doing astrology's course at the moment, like qualified astrologer, and be qualified astrologer at the end of it.
Oh, awesome.
But it's an intense course, and she could be an astrologer anyway. Like, but oh man, like it's amazing. Like gives you this. So all the concepts I'm saying, I've sort of learnt from her organically. It's like osmosis. When you're living with her, she just talks astrology. She's embodied. Lives it, embodies it.
Which is so powerful to be in the presence of people who are so in their power, in what they've been gifted from the universe. It's really a special thing, and it can be rare, but it's not supposed to be. Which is,
you should quote that. It's true.
Oh, that just came through as well. So other than sound healing, what other healing modalities do you find really important to you personally?
Well, yoga.
Yeah.
Yoga would be Ashtanga Mysore yoga. Is a healing modality all by itself. People don't realise it opens you up so much. I always come back to that. Like I really got to give that a bit more credence to what I do, because it's something. It's one of the things you don't realise. It's like drinking water every day. I actually do yoga every day. I do instead of doing an hour and a half practice, I do 10 to 20 minutes now. But I've got it to what I need. Like it's more of a cleansing practice that I do. So that in itself opens me up a lot. And it cleanses all the energies through, especially when you're doing the chaturanga sequences. Which are quite physical, but by the same token, you're actively engaging all your chakras, breathing it through, back out. This beautiful cleansing practice in and out. Feeling all your chakras as you're doing it. And that's the thing, I think, coming back to basics and slowing everything down. People want to do these, all this crazy stuff in yoga, but I think when you come back to the basics, and I remember one of the gurus I've forgotten his name, of Mysore said, you can get to the second, third, fourth series, but the opening practice of the first series, if you can do them, that's all you really need. The basics, getting back to really nailing those basics down and really slowing it down into the breath and feeling and being in touch with your whole body. And feeling your whole body operating as one with your spirit. Feeling the energy interacting with your whole body as you're moving through. That's slowing it down has been immensely, because I had an hour and a half practice every day. But when I was doing this healing, I just could not sustain that. And then I had my practice fell away, and I thought, I can't even practice. And I came across my teacher, Alice Pardo, in Margaret River. She's been a yogi teacher for 30 years. Hardcore, 5 o'clock every morning.
Oh wow, I'm not a morning person, so that's a lot. Because I did a hardcore Mysore practice for a few years, where I was up at 5 every morning doing it. Hardcore, and that would sort of help open me up. So your energy body, your body is really important. To prepare your body for the amount of energies coming in is really important. You've got to have a masculine container sometimes to hold this feminine energies coming through. You've got to get really strong within your body to handle the amount of energies coming through. And that's what I found, has been so much energy coming through. I've had to lean into the more physical aspects of the yoga to actually get my body strong enough. That's really cool.
And the didge as well. It's quieter.
It
expands my whole physical body up.
And that's so important. I think a lot of people kind of think of their spiritual body or their spiritual self as completely separate to their physical body.
No.
And I think, I don't feel that at all.
It's the same.
It's the same. It's one and the same.
And that's simply my purpose, is for people to understand that, we'll talk about enlightenment rather than enlightenment. It's within, it's all here. You don't need to go anywhere. It's right there.
It's right. It is. It's right there. Body.
You don't have to go outside all the time. It's just awakening that energy within our body and how powerful that is. That we can be anywhere, anytime. But here, present, and descension, as we were saying before, rather than ascension, descension, coming back down. Most of my work is around grounding people. Most of my work seems to be around grounding people and opening, because a lot of people haven't experienced the practice. the didge is a quick way of people experiencing, because such a powerful instrument, and I need to pay homage to the indigenous people too for it. It's like probably the oldest sound healing tool.
Yeah, because I mean it's the oldest civilization in the world, most ancient civilization ever.
And this is the oldest land in the world, because it hasn't had, Australia, as I was saying, hasn't had a lot of volcanic activity. Yeah. So this is the oldest land.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very old country. Like, it's so ancient and so, especially you can feel the energy here in Yellinga.
Oh, absolutely. As I was driving down like yesterday, it was like I said to Teagues, who's like a mutual friend of ours, like I was like, as I was getting further and further south, it was like I was traveling through these energy bubbles, and each time I went into those energy bubbles, it was like so much of the collective energy started falling away, and it was like I just felt my soul kind of shrinking down back into my body. And I was driving, and I was like, and that's, as you said, like, with this new moon, so many downloads coming through over the past couple of days. So like Friday and yesterday, I had a lot come through. Yeah, I had a lot come through. So yeah. Oh, yeah.
So good in touch. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's been like.
Yeah.
So, and I have to recommend everyone, like, I may say it because I need to do it more, is writing or speaking it out into a recorder.
Yes. Yep.
On your phone.
Yeah. And you know what? You actually have been like my biggest motivator to actually start my podcast as well, to rebirth it, I guess, because, from our conversations to like, at the start of this year, I was just saying, I know that my voice has like that frequency where it feels very healing for me to be able to talk about what I'm going through, even if I'm not talking to anybody. Yeah. So that has been really good, and like, So, and then I remember you speaking to me about it, and you're like, if you don't have like, your journal, just use your voice recorder, and that sort of stuff, and so it was like, it was a really big motivator for me to get this started. And then our conversation, I was like, man, other people need to hear what Ty is saying. Like, other people need to hear this. And so you've been a massive motivator for me to get this started.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. It's like, that's as we always say, your healing's my healing's your healing. And that's true.
Yeah.
Because, I think a lot of people, when you're stepping into this stuff, it's this beautiful exchange that happens. Yeah. And every time someone comes to me, I realise, oh wow, what have I got to learn here? Yeah. There's always this, because that's how I heal. What I feel in them is obviously in me, and I'm like, cool. Yeah. And I think if people come from it from that angle a lot more, and what you're doing, like, you only have to touch one or two people doing what you're doing. Yeah. It's not this massive. You think, I've got to be the days of gurus and the days of this patriarchal, you've got to come to me because I've got all the answers. That's gone now. Yeah. It's this even playing field of Aquarian energy coming in. Like, the more you grow, the more I grow. You're growing in your own way. You've got your own individual gifts. Yep. I've got my own individual gifts. They come together, they're fucking powerful.
Exactly, yeah.
Why does it, we're not competing anymore. Stop fucking competing, everyone. Like, let's all come together in the spiritual world. Stop fucking competing. No. Fuck me. Like, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's very well. That releases, a good old fart. It's like, that's just as like healing, I think, to me. I'm just like, for fuck's sake,
It's really, it's really, that way is gone. Can I just tell a quick story?
Go for it, please.
I went to, in 2012, I had a massive, 2010 a big awakening. 2012 I went to Taiwan, did a pilgrimage. And I remember walking into this Buddhist temple. And it was massive, biggest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. It looked, I don't know, I don't know what to compare it to, but it was bigger than, I don't know, say the new stadium that they got in Perth. It was bigger than that. Wow. Massive. And never seen anything like it. And I remember going in there, and there was this, the energy was off its head. They had this Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha, Prince Buddha there, and then they had Kuan Yin, this other statue.
I work a lot with her energy.
Yeah, I had her there, and I was like, and also they had this thing, this I could feel like you got the water, like you got a bit of holy water. I could feel the energy in this thing because they've been doing so much energy work in that place, and I could feel it. And then they had a little message in there. Yeah. I had no idea what it was. I hadn't seen it. I looked over and there's this female monk sitting in the corner. I hadn't seen her there.
Yeah.
Before, and she was just sitting in the corner, and she just looks at me and goes like this, like, with her finger, come over here. Yeah. I'm like, where'd you come from? And I walked over there, and she wasn't there. She said, hand me the message. So I gave her the message, and she goes, looks in a book, and she said, Ty, what's your name? Ty. Yeah. Ty, you do not need to compete anymore. Man, like the way she said it, I just blew my eyes out and got the hell out. I was just had this massive it's saying you do not need to compete anymore. Yeah. And I was just like, whoa. And I got it. Yeah. I got it. And it's ancestral. It's collective. Yeah. And in that moment I was like, we're hurting ourselves trying to compete with each other, compete with ourselves, this harsh way of thrashing our bodies and putting ourselves back together again constantly. There's a whole industry around pretty much replacing our body parts. Yeah. Because we're thrashing ourselves and being hard on ourselves all the time. Our bodies don't matter. We're sacrificing ourselves constantly. And I think it all starts there. And then when you start actually this internal play of, really loving myself is actually really paying attention to what I'm doing to my body, what I'm putting into my body. And especially the masculine, it's really ancient, this warrior energy of sacrificing ourselves for the patriarchy, sacrificing ourselves for the king, sacrificing ourselves on the footy field. Yeah. It's that it's that ancient. Yeah. This warrior energy. But if we can healthily channel that warrior energy, into our spirituality. Yeah. And the masculine, that's what a lot of men are sort of working with. It's going to healthily channel it. Yep. It's tough out there. Oh yeah. It is. It's so tough, which is why, we do what we do. Yeah. Yep. This is why we're here. Yeah. Yeah. To help, to heal. Yeah, exactly. It's you just keep following that vibration. You just keep following your intuition, that little voice, that little feeling you have, and people say, it's bullshit, push down, what are you talking about? Just finding your space to come back to yourself. Is this real? Is this true to me? Is that somebody else's opinion? Is that my mum and dad's opinion? What's really real for me right now? What's this energy telling me? Finding the spaces to come back into your own. So much outer pressures out there to do so many things, and you really got to come back to yourself and go, is this right for me? Yeah. Yeah. Is this right for me? Because everyone wants to belong. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody wants to belong, hey? And that's a whole other story, but that's not good to another podcast. But a lot of people come in as wounded healers. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we've had to do it alone for a reason. Especially the light workers and the star seeds out there. We come in as you might feel like you're a black sheep, nobody understands you. I love how you look directly at me then. You feel like you're different. Why doesn't anyone get me? You know, I always feel like it's always hard for me to fit in. What the fuck's going on? Yeah. Brother and sister put up on a pedestal. What's why? And I gave me any attention, paid me. All this stuff. Yeah. And it's all, and you want to have some trauma or whatever, and you always feel like you're on the outer. Yeah. That's all. You needed that. Unfortunately, you needed that. You don't get, and this may sound pretty harsh, you don't get strong from lifting light weights. That's true. Yeah. You really don't. No. And I look back at my journey and go, people go, you had a hard life. Well, probably pretty perfect really when you look back. It was just fucking hard when I was going through it. Yeah. But then you come back to yourself and go, wow, I wouldn't have got to this place if that hadn't happened. Yeah. Yeah. And, you had to go through the bullying, had to go through all that stuff. Everything. Had to go through all that to really be strong enough to come into yourself, because this path is less travelled.
Yep.
The masses, the masses are on this mainstream vibration that's being pumped out. So to break free of that, the matrix, so to speak, you got to be pretty strong.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. So that's why we've been constantly pushed out on the outer for a reason.
Yeah.
So we are strong enough to stand on our own 2 feet, and then the mainstream slowly. And when we're strong enough and on this stronger vibration, and the like-minded vibrational people actually get together and stop fucking competing.
Yeah.
Sorry, get a bit passionate.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah. It increases this beautiful mushroom of positive vibration. It mushrooms out, and that's the only way you can actually affect the masses is by the high vibrational people coming together.
Yeah.
Because as you know, when you get into these group healings, as you say, it's true. Like we're more powerful together.
Yep.
And there's a lot of conditioning around separating.
Yes.
Separation.
Standing out and being a leader and
Yeah, tall poppy syndrome. So you stick it out, bang, you back down. You know. And that's why I think you're talking about the shaman thing. And I think that's my own shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it is for sure.
I can't put my head up. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would be hard. And then I think. You know what? I think that just closes this out perfectly. Yeah, I think that closes this out perfectly. So,
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. We're done. All right. So,
it's probably the longest podcast ever. So
it's
going to come out.
No, well, it's good. It was meant to. So, guys, you can find Ty on Instagram. What's your Instagram name?
Omdidge Healing.
Omdidge Healing.
As in and then Didge, and then Healing.
Yep. And then also on his website, which is also omdidgehealing.com.
Yeah.
So if you want to attend one of his healings, or if you want to go and chat to Ty about, either group healing or retreats, please reach out to him. He's amazing. Right.
Thanks, Nita. Appreciate your support and help as always.
Always.
In your growth journey together.
It's been so good.
I hope you all really enjoyed that episode of the Healing Bridge podcast. I hope you learned something. I hope it expanded your mindset, and I cannot wait to have you back. Until then, you can visit my website, mccawfitandnourished.com, or my Instagram @_Anita.McCaw, and I will be updating you all with little projects that I am going to be doing and delivering. So head over and keep an eye out there. Until next time.